The underground rap scene has been going crazy recently. Autumn just dropped a new project. Yeat dropped like a month ago and did crazy numbers. BNYX has a song with Drake. Like, I don't know what is going on, but I ain't complaining. And the underground has always been about following trends for the longest time. But recently, with the surge of BNYX and Yeat, and even Autumn now, everyone's trying to go for that new sound. And it might be in the same lane as Plug and B or Rage, but they're just trying to develop that sound into something new. So today, I'm just going to be going over a beat I made in the style of those artists and kind of show the ways I try and get a unique sound for underground artists. But before we get into it, be sure to leave a like and a comment. And without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I usually do to try and get a unique sound is something Nick Mera actually mentioned in a internet money tutorial like a year or two ago. And in the video, he showed how he flips his own loops. And what he means by that is he'll make a chord progression, whether it's a basic or a complex one. It doesn't really matter because you're going to flip it regardless. And that's kind of the beauty of this. So to start off, I had 2 or 3 banks from BNYX and I kind of made a just super repetitive chord progression with different sounds. I don't have the MIDI available anymore because I use those patterns to make new counter melodies, but I'll just play you the sample that I created. So after that, I pitched it down by an octave, and then I pitched it down again another 11 semitones. And then lastly, I reversed it and I just added some EQ onto it and some vintage chorus. So starting off, this sounds a bit silly, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard it the first time, I instantly heard the beat behind it, but I can imagine for people that just hear the loop, it sounds a bit goofy. So next up, I'll show you guys the 808 so that the loop kind of just makes a bit more sense. For the first part with the drums, I also just pitched up the loop an octave. So after that, I added a few instances of BNYX. The first one being a lead from the Roy Major bank called Leviathan, and it's super subtle in the loop. I'll actually just mute the rest of the beat so that you guys can kind of just hear the lead alone. And then after that, I added in this other instance of BNYX, which is also a lead, and it's called Analog Bird. And as you can hear, I EQ'd out a bunch of lows and highs of that lead, because my idea was to have that flip of mine as the main loop, and then everything in between is kind of just like ambient background textures and like little counter melodies here and there. And then lastly, for the loop, I also added this other instance of BNYX, and this is a bell from that same Roy Major bank, and it's called Apache. And once again, this is kind of just like background texture and kind of just like white noise. And then as you can hear, I added a bit crusher on, and then I EQ'd that out, and then I added some reverb on as well. And then there's also a section where I added in a different bass instead of the 808, just to add some variation. And that is about it for the loop. Moving on to the drums, it's really basic. I just started off with this simple hi-hat and clap pattern. So after that, I just added this Cardi off snare. And then lastly, I just added a kick for parts in the hook. And And that is about it for the beat. I think the main reason I made this video is just to say that you guys can still kind of tap into these genres of the underground and still make it your own. You don't really have to conform to some trend or, you know, just do the same shit over and over again. Especially for artists nowadays, like beat selection is one of the biggest parts of making a song. So just keep that in mind when you're making beats for these artists. Be sure to leave a like and a comment if you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.